Have you ever felt like math is just a bunch of boring rules? Well, get ready to change your mind because today we're not just doing math, we're unlocking a superpower. Seriously, a real world ability to measure pretty much anything without ever leaving the ground. So let's gear up.
Okay, just look up. See that kite? Or maybe it's a drone. Or the very top of a tall building. How high is it really? I mean, you can't just climb up there with a tape measure, right? It seems kind of impossible. Well, it's not. And by the end of this, you'll know exactly how to solve this puzzle in just a few simple steps. So here's your mission, should you choose to accept it. Learn to measure anything. And your secret weapon? It's called trigonometry. I know, it's a scary sounding word, but forget the name. Just think of it like a brand new toolkit, packed with everything you need to solve these real-world measurement puzzles. Now, what's the key to this whole superpower? It's this simple shape right here, the right triangle. This little guy is the hero of our story today. You'll see that almost any measurement puzzle, from the height of that kite to how far a ship is from the shore, can be turned into a simple puzzle about a right triangle. Every great mission needs a secret code, right? Well, ours is SOHCHTOA. This one simple phrase is the key to using our three main tools. That's sine, cosine, and tangent. So what does that actually mean? Let's break it down. It looks complicated, but I promise it's simpler than it looks. Each one of these things is just a ratio, basically a fraction, that compares the lengths of two sides of a right triangle. The hypotenuse is easy. It's always the longest side, the one across from the right angle. Then, from whatever angle you're looking from, the opposite side is the one way across from it, and the adjacent side is the one right next to it. That's it. Okay, but how in the world do you remember which ratio is which? Well, this is the master key right here. SOHCAHTOA. It's not a magic spell, it's just a way to remember. SOH tells you that sine is opposite over hypotenuse. CAH means cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. And TOA, you got it, tangent is opposite over adjacent. Still worried you might forget? Try this one on for size. Some old horse caught another horse tripping over apples. It's a little silly, I'll admit, but I guarantee you will never forget SOHCAHTOA ever again. Your secret code is officially locked and loaded. All right, so SOHCAHTOA is awesome for finding a missing side. But what if you already know the sides and what you really need to find is the angle? Well, for that, we need a kind of rewind button, and this is where our next tool comes in, inverse functions. Think of this as the flip side of our toolkit. If our regular trig functions take an angle and give you the ratio of the sides, these inverse functions do the exact opposite. You give them the ratio of the sides you already know, and they tell you exactly what the angle is. It's just like working the puzzle backwards. And using it on your calculator is super easy. On most of them, you just hit the shift or the second button, then press the trig function you need, like sin. That little move gets you to the inverse function. Then you just type in the fraction of the sides you know, hit enter, and bam, the calculator spits out the angle in degrees. Easy. All right, you've got the tools, you've got the secret codes. Now it's time to prove your skills. Let's go all the way back to that first puzzle. Welcome to boss battle number 1, the kite challenge. Okay, let's look at the problem. We know the angle is 32 degrees. We also know the side opposite that angle is 20 feet high. What we want to find is the length of the string, which is the hypotenuse. So what do we have? Opposite and hypotenuse. O and H. Wait a minute. So that means we need to use sine. So we set up our equation. The sine of 32 degrees equals 20 divided by x. With a tiny bit of algebra, we solve for x, and we find out the kite string is about 37.74 feet long. And just like that, you've solved an impossible problem. First boss defeated. Feeling good? Yeah, you should be. But a true hero is always ready for the next challenge. So let's tackle round 2, the lighthouse rescue. Don't worry, we're about to shed some light on this problem. You've totally got this. Okay, here's the situation. We know the angle is 62 degrees. We know the beam of light from the lighthouse, that's our hypotenuse, is 400 feet long. We need to find how far the ship is from the shore, which is the side adjacent to our angle. So, what do we have? Adjacent and hypotenuse, A and H. That's CAH. It's time for cosine. We set up the problem. The cosine of 62 degrees equals x divided by 400. We solve for x, and we get 187.79 feet. the ship is safe, the shore is reached, and the mission is complete. You are officially a trigonometry boss. So now that you've mastered the main weapons, let's talk about some power-ups. Think of these as pro tips, alternate strategies that can sometimes help you solve these problems even faster. Because every champion needs a few extra tricks up their sleeve. First step is a classic you probably already know, the Pythagorean theorem. This is your go-to power-up for one specific situation, when you know two sides of a right triangle, and you just need the third one, but you don't know any of the angles. It's just a squared plus b squared equals c squared, where c is always the hypotenuse. Come on, let's try it out. Here's a new kite problem. This time we know the string, our hypotenuse, is 300 feet, and we know the distance along the ground, one of the legs, is 158 feet. We need to find the height, which is just the other leg. We just plug the numbers right into the theorem. 158 squared plus b squared equals 300 squared. You do the math, and you'll find the kite's height is about 255 feet. See? Another path to get to the same answer. And check this out. Now that we have all three sides, we could totally use our rewind button, those inverse functions, to figure out the exact angle the kite string makes with the ground. See how all the tools work together? And for our final pro tip, keep an eye out for special cheat code triangles. Things like 30, 60, 90 triangles have side ratios that are so consistent, you can often solve them without any trig functions at all. It's a great little shortcut to look into as you get more advanced. And that's it. The training is complete. The bosses are defeated. The superpower is yours. Trigonometry unlocked. Just take a second and think about the abilities you've just unlocked. You can now measure the height of a tree from where you're standing. You can calculate the distance to a boat across a lake. You can find any missing side or angle in a right triangle. But most importantly, you now know how to look at a problem, figure out what you have, and choose the right tool for the job. You can literally solve real-world puzzles like a pro. So think about that. This isn't just something you do in math class anymore. This is a real tool you can use out in the actual world. You now have the power to measure your world from right where you are standing. So my only question for you is this. What are you going to measure first?